This new boss relic in Elden Ring Nightreign is absolutely disgusting.
Hello gamers, right, we are going to take a look at the DREG Relic because there is a lot of misinformation and generally people are confused about what the DREG Relic actually does. Now Red Wolf is talking about the relic here and I'll just let the Red Wolf's video play. Unfortunately, shorts now have become the center for information based around these type of games, which is a shame because most of the time they're just brain rot, clickbaity videos to get you to watch, and it's not even correct information. I mean, you could have spent literally 5 seconds testing this relic in the sparring grounds and it would have explained exactly what it does. Obviously, no hate towards Red Wolf. I really like Red Wolf's content. I watch him on TikTok, didn't realize he had a YouTube. So there is no hate towards Red Wolf at all, but there is misinformation in the video, so we're just going to clear that up and hopefully give you a better understanding of what it does. So I'll just let his video play now.
And it's called the Knight of Dregs. It's one of the 2 new boss relics that you can obtain by defeating one of the new final bosses inside of the Forsaken Hollows DLC. Starting with, status ailment gauges slowly increase attack power. Now I'm still testing what all this flavor text means, but it seems to mean the more status ailments that you have on a target and the longer they tick for, the more your attack power increases.
So yeah, right off the bat, that's wrong. So it's not the status that you inflict on an enemy, it's essentially, if you've got a status bar on your character showing on the screen, you will get a damage boost. Now, there are 10 levels to the damage boost that you actually get, level 1 to 10. Level 1, you get a 3.5% damage boost, and then level 10, you get a 45% damage boost. It doesn't matter how many statuses you have on the screen, so you could have all 4 status showing, you're not going to get a 4 times damage boost. It only matters how long the ailment bar is showing on your screen. I think it works out to about 3 minutes you would need the bar to be on your screen for you to get the level 10 damage boost. There's about 25 seconds between level 1, level 2, level 2, level 3, level 3, level 4, and so on. So yeah, 10 levels, level 1 to 10. You need to be about 3 minutes with a status bar showing on your screen. Doesn't need to be the same status bar, so if one runs out and you quickly start another one, or you take damage from someone else and there's a new status bar, as long as you don't lose the buff in between those status bars, you will still keep that damage boost going. So hopefully that makes sense on that part. Now there is a really good way to keep this going in the Deep of Night. I would only advise doing this depth 1, 2, 3. Depth 4 and 5, you don't want to be doing this because you're just going to end up dying. Essentially, have a relic on that has something like poison build up when you're below max HP, and that way you can have a constant ticking status ailment, which will give you a constant ticking damage boost. Now, obviously, again, depth 4, depth 5, you don't really want to be doing this because you're going to want your damage negation at fulls. Even depth 3, there are some bosses and enemies that will one-shot you, regardless of how much health you have, so just be very careful if you do decide to go down that route. In my opinion, I wouldn't even use this relic for the Deep of Night, but that's just me.
Going on to its second ability, which literally requires you to take damage, attacks inflict rot when damage is taken. And now the flavor text is kind of worded a little weird here, but in reality, all it means is when you take damage, your weapon will be engulfed with scarlet rot. So basically, when you take damage, you get a free armament. And now you're probably thinking, that kind of sucks that I have to take damage in order to get scarlet rot to proc. Well, that doesn't really matter with the third ability. Rot in vicinity causes continuous HP recovery.
Now we'll add these two together just because Red Wolf put them both together. But essentially, when you take a hit, you get 25 rot buildup added to your weapon, which in my opinion isn't the greatest. And honestly, once you've procced rot once, maybe twice on a boss, just using that alone, it's going to take you a very long time to proc rot again. I also don't like the fact that you have to be hit to add the rot onto your weapon. So in my opinion, it's not worth using. But if you're relying on the rot recovery, you actually getting scarlet rot or rotting someone else for the HP recovery, then again, it really, in my opinion, is wasting a relic slot. There are so many other better relics you could use for every character than waiting to proc rot to get some health recovery back, or even just adding 25 rot build up to your weapon. So in my opinion, overall, the DREG relic isn't that good. I personally wouldn't use it. There will be, niche cases where it is really good to use. Maybe fighting the DREG himself because you get constant, health recovery if you get rotted, because a lot of people will get rotted. But in my opinion, for the Deep of Night, it's definitely not worth using. And even for the base game, unless you're using it just to have fun, it really isn't worth wasting a slot over. There are relics that have way more use than just this relic alone.
So all that damage you would take in order to get scarlet rot on your weapon can actually be recovered just passively because of this relic, so long as you inflict scarlet rot on an enemy that you're attacking. And one of the ones I've been using is Knight of the Wise, because not only do you have the ability to have your starting armament inflict poison damage, but you also have the other ability, poison and rot in vicinity increases attack power.
Now just at the end of the video, he obviously gives you an option to add this other relic in, which is the relic from Maris that gives you essentially a damage boost when you proc rot on someone. It is a really good idea. Again, there are just better ways to use it. Obviously, for this to work, you need to have this complete relic to use the poison and rot in vicinity gives attack power, and that power up is only a 12% boost. You could have pretty much any other relic that has an attack power up when facing a Scarlet inflicted enemy, and that give you a 11% damage boost. But not only that, you will also have other passives alongside that relic that will just be better in general than starting armaments to inflict poison, which is obviously going to lower your AR and the increased max FP. So yeah, it is a really good idea, and it's along the right lines. Just pick a better relic with attack power up when facing a Scarlet Rot inflicted enemy. So that's pretty much all there is to cover on the Red Wolves video. Now again, there is no hate towards Red Wolf at all, because I've done it before. I've picked up certain relics, ready, thought it was one thing, ended up being a completely different thing. So you know, it was what happens. And at the end of the day, it's just YouTube. It means nothing. Don't be offended by it. Just understand that this relic isn't as good as people are trying to make out. Now, there are some good ways to use it. For example, you can use it on the Guardian. Obviously, when you're blocking with the Guardian, you're going to take chick damage. If you've got a relic on that has like poison build up when taking damage, stuff like that's going to give you a constant damage boost, because you're going to be taking damage a lot, especially if you're playing solo because you've got no one else to take the aggro. And I've done it in both Depth 5 and I've also done it in trios in the base game. In Depth 5, I was getting over 500 AR on my halberd, and in base game trios, I think I got up to like 300 AR on a halberd just from using this relic alone, with, you know, obviously a few other passives and stuff. So there are, you know, cases where you can use it, it will be very strong. But in my opinion, there are an infinite amount of relics that are just better. So as always, gamers, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you do find much luck using this relic. Personally, I haven't used it that much, but every time I have used it, it has been underwhelming. But obviously, let me know if there are some scenarios where you've used it and you thought it was absolutely brilliant, because, you know, it will help the community out. But yeah, just to clear up some misinformation on this video, hopefully that helps. As always, I'll catch you on the next one. Stay safe, big love, peace.